What is up, everybody? It is Mark from Ichiban Games, and thank you again for coming to check the next installment of the cards for Alchemazam. It's set, the Grand Arcanum. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video, and hit that notification bell so you can hear more video stuff to come in the future from us. Now let's get into the cards. But first, we need to go and get that disclaimer, which this video is made for teaching purposes only. In the future, it will be updated. This game is in its alpha stage. Some of the art I own and some I do not, but all the art you see is proxy and placeholder. So, do know that all the art credit goes towards the artists. And always remember that this art will always be for teaching purposes only and placeholder. All right. The first card that we're going over for this video is Summoning of the Damned, which is an uncommon card that is a spell. It costs 1 glyph to spend and 2 life points. Create 2 vampire assassins. Yeah, that's cool. You will see what the vampire assassins are coming up in the video. Next, we have Sunbeast, which is a common card. It is a creature beast light, which is a 5 attack, 5 defense, 0 special defense. Its casting cost is 3 gold and 1 treasure trove. Sunbeast cannot be charmed. It can block all empowered creatures. Magic ability spell speed. Spend 3 gold to randomly take a card from your opponent's hand and put it into their graveyard. You gain 1 life point per resource of that card's casting cost. Treasure troves and arcane tomes count as 3, and non-specific costs count as 2. So this big guy right here is going to just block a bunch of stuff, and it can't be charmed, so that's good. It will also be able to go and take those cards from your opponent's hand and be able to get some life points off them as you shove them into the graveyard. And what it means by non-specific cost means that if it was, say, like X, if you pay X for whatever. So that means that. Definitely a good card to have. Next, we have Taken to the Grave, which is an uncommon card that's an instant. Its casting cost is 1 glyph spent and 1 card from your hand. This card can only be cast before the damage step of combat. Before damage has been delegated, if a target creature you control is to die in combat or fight and does, the opponent attacking creature also dies. So this card is really good to have those little creatures of yours go and die with those big creatures that are going to die from this card, that's for sure. This card is great. The next card we have is Talisman of the Necromancer, which is a rare card that is an equipment, relic, accessory of Iron and Bone, magical, and of the Dark faction. It has a casting cost of 2 arcane tomes used, or spend 10 life points. The equip cost is 2. Talisman of the Necromancer cannot be taken off. The creature that is equipped by Talisman of the Necromancer has Immortal until Talisman of the Necromancer is destroyed. So this interesting card here is this card can be equipped but never unequipped. It can only be destroyed. So now a card can be banished that has this card. So yeah, this is going to make all your stuff immortal that wear it. That is one interesting card right there. Next, we have Tamperer of Gusts, which is an uncommon card. It is a creature human witch of the air faction. It has an attack of 3, defense of 2, and special defense of 0, and a casting cost of use 5 glyphs plus sacrifice 1 creature. If this card is on your field and your opponent puts a card from their deck to their graveyard, gain 1 life point per card. Magic ability. When this card enters the field, choose 1. Choose a target player. As long as this card is still in play, that player puts 5 cards from their deck to their graveyard. Or Choose 2 other target creatures. As long as this creature still is in play, you may flick those creatures to their owner's hands. Alright, so this is what's happening here. When this card enters the field, you either choose a player or 2 target creatures that are not this creature. So what happens if you choose a player? You go and get 5 cards of their deck into their graveyard. And because this card exists on the field, you will go and get 1 life point per card that goes in that graveyard. And if you choose the creatures, you just flick those back to those opponents or yourself's hand is what you do. Now, the key words here are as long as this creature is still in play. So what that means is when this gets chosen, you know, there is priority. So say if this creature gets flicked itself or gets killed or banished or whatever, that means that this will not go off of either of those abilities because this creature has to stay on the field to resolve it. So either way, super good card, really crazy, and definitely awesome. The next card is Taxation of the Arcane, which is a rare card that is an enchantment. It is also a curse. To cast this card, you need to spend 2 gold and attach Taxation of the Arcane to a target opponent's tableau and choose either gold or glyph. That opponent must use 1 more of that exact resource, no substitute, when casting any card or activated ability. So, yes, this card is going to put a little tax on opponents and make it be where they have to basically turn resources to go and put out cards or do activated abilities. So, yeah, that is quite dirty. The next card is Tempest Enforcer. It is a common card that is a creature, human, monk of the air faction. It is 1 attack and 3 defense with 0 special defense. Its casting cost is use 3 gold. It is empowered by flight as long as a creature with magic abilities or of the magic faction is on the field, becomes grounded if otherwise. For every card you have in your hand after 5 cards, Tempest Enforcer gets +1 attack. Magic ability, instant speed. If you have 2 or less cards in hand, spend 2 glyphs to turn a target creature. If you have 3 or more in hand, turn 2 target creatures. Alright, so this thing is going to go and maneuver some stuff to make it where they turn, and you can blast through the defenses. And if you have a lot of cards in hand, and this thing can fly, if you got other magic users, this thing is going to become stronger and beat some faces. So that is quite the nice little card right there. Next, we have Territorial Fledgling. This is a common card that is a creature, dragon, Vigilant. And it has an attack of 1, defense of 2, and special defense of 0. It has a casting cost of use 1 gold and 1 glyph, and it is empowered by flight. If this card is on the ground, it gets +2 defense and fusion. Fuse with 2 more dragon creatures to have them become a Draconic Hydra. Alright, so this little guy here on the ground becomes a little bit of a wall. And when he wants to fly, he can fly. So that's pretty good. But it can also become a Draconic Hydra. So that is nice. Next, we have Thief Boots, which is an uncommon card that's an equipment, item, iron, and cloth. This card has a casting cost of spend 2 gold and 2 glyphs and has an equip cost of 2. Equipped creature has steel, limit 2, has preemptive, and +1 extra defense when blocking. When the equipped creature deals damage to a player, steal 1 gold or 1 glyph from your opponent. And if the creature was hidden, steal 1 gold and 1 glyph each. So this thing is quite nice if you want to go and steal some stuff from a player. And the other thing is that it has preemptive and it gives you a little bit extra defense. So that hefty cost right there isn't too bad in the long run if you can go and get things back and up and running for yourself. The next card is a common card that's an instant called Threat Removal. Its casting cost is spend 2 gold and 1 glyph. Remove any target creature, enchantment, equipment, or item off a player's field. You may spend 1 extra gold or glyph to put that target card back onto the field. Otherwise, shuffle that card back into their deck. So this card is going to take a card off an opponent field or take a card off your own field. You could go and have it get shuffled into their deck, or let's say if it came from you, you could go and have it go off your field and then have it go right back on otherwise to evade something. So either way, this card is pretty versatile and pretty nice. The next card is Through the Pages, which is a common card that is a spell. It does not have a casting cost. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put a creature, spell, or instant card on the top of your deck if you turn 2 creatures on your field or spend a gold or glyph. Put the other cards randomly on the bottom of your deck every time you cast another Through the Pages this turn. Turn an additional 2 more creatures or spend 2 more gold and or glyphs. After casting, banish this card where it gets a counter each second upkeep. After 3 counters, release it into your graveyard. So what's good about this card is you have no casting cost to go and look at what's there, but you're going to have to do a little bit of resourceness between if you want to spend gold or glyphs or if you want to go and just turn creatures on your field to go and grab something and, you know, put it at the top of your deck. So it's a really good card, but you just got to be thinky with it. Next is Thunderclap, which is an uncommon card that is an instant of the air faction. The casting cost is spend 2 gold or spend 2 glyphs. Target creature you control gets preemptive until the end of turn. If that creature kills a creature in combat, deal 3 damage to an opponent player. If the target creature you control is associated with the air faction, add a +1 attack and +1 defense to it until the end of turn. So this is a nice little card where if you can go and psych a player out and smash it, well, you are going to go and hurt that player, and you're probably going to go and kill a creature in the process. So this is a nice little tactic here. Next is Thunderfist, which is a common card that is a creature, dwarf, monk of the air faction. It is an attack of 2, defense of 3, and special defense 0. This card has a casting cost of use 3 gold, and when this card deals damage to a player, create a runestone. Magic ability, spell speed, air. As long as this card has an equipment or non-mobilizing enchantment on it, you may turn a treasure trove and Thunderfist to do 2 damage to a target creature. This card is pretty cool where if you have an equipment on it or a non-immobilizing enchantment like say Glistening Radiance, you can go and do its magic ability. But remember, if it's an enchantment like, say, Binding Wrath, that is not going to happen because that's immobilizing. But, yeah, it's really good to go and get that runestone, too. The next card is called Time Out, which is a common card that is an instant. Its casting cost is use 1 Arcane Tome. Banish a target creature off the field for 3 turns, starting with turn 1 on the casting turn, marked with a +1 counter. At each player's first upkeep, add +1 to that counter. Banish a target creature off the field for 3 turns, starting turn 1 on the casting turn, marked with a +1 counter. At each player's first upkeep, add a +1 counter. At the end of the second upkeep phase, on turn 3, bring the creature back to the field. So when you cast this card, you're going to go and banish off a creature. It doesn't matter if it's on your turn or their turn. It will get that counter on it. And then on that next player's turn, it's going to get a counter. And then on the next player's counter after that, it's going to get a counter. But it gets released at the second upkeep. So just make sure it's of that. With that being said, this is pretty good to go and evade some things for yourself and buy you some time on a creature, or you can go and buy yourself some time and get some creature that's attacking or something else off the field that you need to do, and it will just time it out for the time being. So that is quite nice. Next, we have a card called Tome Digger, which is an uncommon card. It is a creature elf wizard of the Earth faction. It has 1 attack, 4 defense, and 0 special defense, and a casting cost of use 1 treasure trove. Magic ability, instant speed, turn Tome Digger to create 1 runestone. This card is fantastic because you could go and block with this thing and then instantly go and just create a runestone for yourself. So yeah, making runestones is very good, and this thing does it. Next, this card is called Tormentor of the Plains. It is an uncommon card that is a creature giant berserker with an attack of 6, defense of 5, and special defense of 0. It has a casting cost of use 3 glyphs and an arcane tome. It has barrier 3, juggernaut 2, target attack up to 2 creatures at full attack power. When this card enters the battlefield, destroy an opponent's enchantment. Physical ability, if this card dies in combat, any creature that blocked or was blocked with a lower base attack power, destroy those creatures. So this thing is wild, is what this is. So this thing, when it comes in, you're going to go and destroy something. It can go and just attack and go right through. It can block a lot of stuff. But also, if this thing was to die, and if it is blocked by multiple little things with anything that is under 6, this is going to kill those creatures. And another thing is that if you target attack with this thing, it is going to do its full attack power of this to those target attacking creatures. So yeah, that is really, really wild. The next card we have is Totem Statue, which is an uncommon creature construct relic of the Earth faction. It has an attack of 1, defense of 2, special defense of 0, and its casting cost is 3 cards in your hand to the graveyard. When Totem Statue is sacrificed, you may create 3 runestones or 3 emeralds. Ability, instant speed. Turn Totem Statue to sacrifice it. When you do, destroy a targeted enchantment. Magic ability, spell speed. Turn Totem Statue and spend 1 glyph to cure 3 poison or 2 curse counters. This card is super, super, super good, where you can go and get some runestones and or emeralds. So, I mean, that is great if you can go and do that. This thing cures poison and curses as well, so this will be extremely helpful. Next is Trade Off, which is a common spell. It is a casting cost of spend 2 gold and 4 glyphs. This spell targets the field. You create 2 image tokens with 0 attack, 1 defense, and 0 special defense. Starting with you, players take turns choosing creatures the other player controls. The chosen creature is destroyed. This continues until either on your turn to choose not to continue, or until you or your opponent have no creatures to choose. For each of your creatures killed this way, create 1 runestone. Alright, so this card is a nice little game of roundabout where, alright, you have some stuff out on the field and it's pretty crazy. I'm going to go and play this card, and guess what? I'm going to pick this card. You're going to kill it. Oh, you want to pick one of my good cards? Well, I got some things. You're going to kill that. All right, I'm going to kill your next good thing. So, back and forth, back and forth. This card is awesome to go and clear out some meanies, and you at least get some extra stuff there that you can go and use just in case you need to block things in the future. Really good card here. Next we have Transmute, which is a rare card that is a spell. Its casting cost is spend 1 gold and 1 glyph plus 2 creatures on your field. And what does this thing do? Well, put a treasure trove or arcane tome on your field turned. The resource win condition does not happen for you your next turn. Oh my, this thing will accelerate that win condition of your resource win. But you can't have it happen the turn after you play this. So yeah, get that stuff in order because this thing is wonderful. The next card is Unleash Evil, which is an instant that is a common card. It has a casting cost of spend 2 gold, 1 glyph, and use 2 arcane tomes. Search your deck and or graveyard for up to 3 undead faction creature cards, being at least 1 common, then 1 uncommon, then 1 rare, with the stats of 3 attack, defense, and or special defense or lower. Then put them onto the field. If you control a Necromancer or Lich, you may search for 1 ultra rare instead of a common. Banish this card where it gets a counter each second upkeep. After 3 counters, release it into your graveyard. Alright, so don't let the high cost fool you here. This card is quite savage. If you can go and 1, 2, 3. Okay, don't let the 1, 2, 3. All right, don't let this high cost here fool you. This card is quite wild, where it will let you get 3 cards of a common, an uncommon, and a rare onto the field. That is really good, but if you've got that Lich or Necromancer and you can go and get the ultra rare instead of a common, that is just super, super, super good. So this is a really good card, even though its casting cost is a little up there. Oh yeah, and one more thing, a nice little bit of lore here. And then, amid the onlookers, the reign of terror began. Nice! Next we have Vampire Assassin, which is a creature vampire assassin. It is a common card, and it has stats of 1 attack, 2 defense, and 0 special defense, with a casting cost of use 2 glyphs. It has Drain and Preemptive, and physical ability. When this card enters the field, you may turn a treasure trove to choose a target player, then deal 1 damage to any card of that player. Well, that is quite nifty because that technically does not go and hit a creature. It goes and it targets the player, which then you can choose the creature. So it is a bypass of any spell proof or anti-targeting. So sneaky, sneaky, Mr. Vampy Boy. That is quite cool. And it has Drain and Preemptive, so that ain't too shabby. The next card is Vampire's Broach, which is an uncommon card that is an equipment relic accessory of iron. It has a casting cost of spend 1 gold and 1 glyph, and it has an equip cost of 2. Equipped creature gets Drain. If this card is equipped to a vampire creature, that creature gets +2 attack and the empowerment of magic. So strap this on those Vampy boys because they're going to go all the way through and just suck some blood off of your opponents for an extra 2 attack, obviously. So yeah, this is quite nice, and it also gives Drain just in general. So yeah, quite good there. The next 1, 2, 3. The next card is Vanquisher of the Dark, which is an uncommon card that is a creature undead vampire that's a warrior of the light faction. It has an attack of 3, defense of 4, and special defense of 0. It has a casting cost of use 2 gold and 1 treasure trove. It has drain when attacking. At the beginning of combat, if at least 2 other light faction creatures and this card are attacking, this card gets an extra +1 attack for each other attacking light faction creature. Magic ability, instant speed. When blocking, pay 5 life points to absorb. Ability, at your second upkeep, you may pay 7 life to put this card from your graveyard to the top of your deck. Alrighty then, this card is pretty good, where you're going to go and drain, and if you have some light faction creatures that are attacking, and this is attacking, it's just going to get stronger, and that is cool. And when it's blocking, you can pay 5 life, and it's worth it to you. You can go and absorb if there's some sort of, damaging magic that is happening to you. And with that ability of getting it back from your graveyard, that is quite good too, because this is going to be a very strong card for you. So, next is Vanquishing Sword, which is a common card. It is an equipment relic weapon, sword made of iron, and has magical property. So, this casting cost is 2 glyphs, and it has an equip of 1. And it adds a +2 attack and +1 defense to the equipped creature. Equipped creature can block all empowered creatures. Equipped creature is also a knight. So, yeah, if you want something to be a knight and you want to go and stop all the empowered creatures, this is the way to go. This card is super, super, super effective. So, yeah. Next is Vault Lock, which is a common card that is an item vault made of iron, and it is a casting cost of 2 cards in your hand to the graveyard. As long as Vault Lock is on your field, tableau resources you control cannot be stolen, used, or destroyed by another player. If Vault Lock is destroyed, create 1 elemental resource or runestone. Alright, this card is really nice because there's going to be players that are going to try and do a lot of shenanigans to your tableau, and yeah, this will put an end to that real quick. If this thing gets destroyed too, you can go and get an elemental resource or runestone out of it. So it's not just like you are left with nothing, just in case they keep on trying to steal something. The next card is Vaurus, which is a common card that is a creature dragon frog. It has an attack of 1, defense of 1, and special defense of 2, and a casting cost of use 1 glyph. It has pack 4 plus Vaurus, which gives an extra +2 attack and 3 plus defense if you have 4 or more Vauruses on the field. Fusion. Fuse with 2 or more dragon creatures to have them become a Draconic Hydra. Alright, this is a nice little card here that once you have a pack of it, it gets stronger and it can go and be a Draconic Hydra if you can go and do that. So yeah, great little card here. Next is Veil of Locusts, which is a common card that is a spell, and it is a casting cost of spend 1 gold and 2 glyphs. Destroy up to 4 target plant faction creatures, items, or enchantments, and or equipments on the field. And yeah, so this card is going to wipe out them pesky plants. That is great. So bring on them locusts, because here we go. This next card is Vengeful Imp, which is a common card that is a creature undead demon imp dark faction with attack of 4, defense of 2, and special defense of 0. It is a casting cost of use 3 glyphs. It has sudden, cannot be killed by fatal castings of any kind, and if cast on another player's turn, target creature gets -2 until the end of turn. This is quite the nice card because when you can go and sudden something in, you can go and put it at any time you like. And this can go and minus some negative attack to something just up until the end of turn, that is quite nice. So you can do some shenanigans. And for a little bit of extra oomph, this thing can't be killed by fatal casting. So you have to either damage this thing or negate its life. That is the only way that you're going to kill this thing. Next is Verdant Slayer, which is a rare card. It is a creature, plant, dryad warrior with an attack of 2, defense of 3, and special defense of 0. It has a casting cost of use 3 glyphs and alchemic ability. When this card enters the field, put a -1 attack and -1 defense counter on a target opponent creature. Then put a +1 attack and +1 defense counter on a target creature you control. When this card attacks and gets blocked, until the end of turn, for each plant creature you control, delegate that many -1 attack and -1 defense points to any creature blocking it prior to damage. Well, this is quite crazy how this is. So, this card, when it comes in, you can go and make something stronger and make something else weaker. So, there's that. But not only that, when this thing attacks, this thing is going to minus the attack and defense points from any creatures that go and block this. So that is how that is. Now, that doesn't stay on there because it is not counters, but yeah, that is quite crazy where stuff can just die. So, yeah, this card is wicked good. Next is Vessel of Storms, which is a rare card that is a creature, human, wizard, air faction. It has 4 attack, 3 defense, and 2 special defense. And it has a casting cost of use 4 glyphs. It has Juggernaut of 2 and has magic throw ability, spell speed, air. Turn 2 treasure troves and this card to pick up any 3 target non-hidden creatures and or throwable objects on the field to throw them at any target. Throw damage 2, hit damage 2. Well, this is nuts. So, alright, not only can it just have Juggernaut and go right through some stuff, with this magic ability, this thing can go and pick up stuff with its air faction wind and just throw it around at whatever. And don't think that it can't, where the throwing and the hitting can't be the stuff that is getting thrown and hit together, so it would make for a 4 damage to a couple of things instead of just 2. So this thing is quite crazy. The next card is a common card called Vigilant Thunderbird. It is a creature bird Thunderbird of the air faction, and it is an attack of 5, defense of 6, and special defense of 0. It has a casting cost of use 3 gold and 1 treasure trove. Empowered by flight. Magic ability, instant speed, air. Sacrifice 2 elemental resources to do 3 damage divided among up to 3 target creatures. For every creature that this card destroys, a card this way, create 1 runestone or sapphire. Alright, so this thing is going to take elemental resources and it is going to break them and basically deal 3 damage of however you want to go and divide it amongst the 3 creatures. So that's great. If it kills things, you're going to get some stuff. So plus it is a flying creature. So yeah, this crazy bird here is just going to wreck everything. Next is Volatile Ooze, which is an uncommon card that is a creature slime that is red, because I guess the color matters. It has an attack of 3, defense of 3, and special defense of 0, and a casting cost of use 2 gold and 2 glyphs. It has a physical ability of when declaring attacks or blocks, you may take this card's base attack points and add them to its defense. or its base defense and add them to its attack. If this creature uses all its attack and leaves 0 defense points, it throws itself to do max base attack damage at a target creature. Now, this has some good manipulation, so if you want to be able to take this thing and do as you will with it, that is quite good. And what's a little bit interesting is about that ability where it throws itself. It can possibly stay alive if you do the right things, but all right. The final card we're going to go over in this video is Volcanic Progenerator, which is a fire turtle. It is a creature elemental beast turtle with the fire faction, and it is an uncommon. It is an attack of 4, defense of 2, and special defense of 1. This card is a casting cost of use 2 gold and 2 glyphs, and it has anti-targeting. At your first upkeep, this card gets 1 power counter. Then put a target counter on a target creature. Magic ability, spell speed. Spend 3 power counters to damage each creature with a target counter on it for 2 damage per target counter. So this thing right here is a volcano turtle. Like I said, it will basically go and target creatures, and when you want to go and spend it, it is going to just blast things for 2 each. So you can put those target counters on more than 1 creature. You can put them on the same creature. You can do whatever, but once you set that off, it's going to be crazy times. So yeah, what a good card this is. Thank you so much for watching this video, and there's more videos to come. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you can follow the channel for more videos to come up when they are released. Remember that you can go and check out the game rules and card database on the Google Drive, and you can play the game on untapped.in for free. All you got to do is sign up. And remember, it is also on Tabletop Simulator, but you need people to play with. So join that Discord. You can meet all the other people that play, and you can check out more games there as well, just like if you were to go to the Ichiban Games webpage. So thanks again, everyone, for checking things out, and one last video to come. So thanks again, and see you soon.